Welcome back to Clancy's Comic Corner, classic / non-classic. This is episode number 1599 and Doubleshot number 1490. I believe it's 94, is it? It is 93. Yeah, 93. Okay, now we have a one Marvel trade. And one DC trade. First one is, of course, we're still doing Thunderbolts. By the way, the next video I'm discussing the last two trades for this volume of Thunderbolts. Alright, first up we have Thunderbolts Volume 3, Infinity. Written by Charles Shaw. Phil Noto does the first issue in the trades artwork with issue 13. Then 14 to 18, 14-19 is a completely different artist. 14-18 is Hafet Palo, Gabriel Hernandez Walter, this issue 19. 13 is a standalone. Now, 13 and 19 are pretty much standalone issues. 19 does follow the aftermath of the Infinity tie-in issues. 13 is simply put Venom finding out about Mercy, him discussing Thunderbolt Ross about it. There's some mild development with Elektra and Deadpool, but that's it. Yeah, him meeting her for the first time, him discussing it with Thunderbolt Ross, and the whole point of this is miles set up for something that happens later. And this is done by a really good artist, Phil Noto. Yep. Yes. This artwork is I really enjoy Phil Noto's artwork. I gotta hand it to him. This was really good. I kind of wish he did the next few issues because, oh boy. Because the abrupt change of artists in here is so jarring. Because you have this gorgeous cover here for issue 14. And then you open up the issue and you come across this very childish artwork. Like, this artwork is not that good. Yeah. Mostly put for the first issue 14, they just mostly with a dragon. And 14, now, in these issues, and this kind of sets up some stuff that we would see explored in Charles Shaw's run, but not very much because his run, pretty much after the story wrapped up, it only lasted for another 8 issues before he left. Where in between every mission they go on with for Thunderbolt Ross, they each get a turn of picking the mission. And so, Deadpool picks a hat with a feather in it, and he puts everybody's names in the hat, and the person who's first chosen is the Punisher. Yes, the Punisher. And what is his mission? Kill a crime family. Simple as that. Everybody stands up, hand right away. Maybe the Avengers will show up. And then, of course, Flash Thompson gets a notification via his iPad that says, no, the Avengers are not in New York at all. Matter of fact, they're on Earth. And thinking, what? They're off in space. Why is that? You'll find out. So basically, he's like, okay, so Elektra, Venom, Deadpool, you with me, Ross, and Stearns, you stay here. Yep, Samuel Stearns stays there. So, they go out and they go deal with this crime family that Punisher really wants to take care of right now. Because, well, Ross stays because he's got a target on his back, because he's an obvious target. So they go and deal with these people, and they deal with some pre-wrap-up, and then all of a sudden, one of the most coolest things happen. An alien armada pops up on top of the city because Infinity is happening. Yes, Infinity. And also the events that will lead to the events of Inhumanity. Where, basically, because what happened in the main series, I believe it was issue 4, I believe this happened, where Black Bolt activated the Terrigen bomb that unleashed the Terrigen gas, this mist that will surround the whole planet. And this would last for the next few years in comics. Because as Miles said, with a gangster who gets turned into a human in these issues. So, while everybody deals with, well, those aliens. Meanwhile, though, Supergiant, yes, Supergiant of the Black Order shows up, tears through the submarine of Thunderbolts, and to the Supergiant's like, hello, I am Supergiant of the Black Order. The Supergiant, Black Order of the Thanos. And he's like, I'm Samuel Stearns. He doesn't mention he's in fact the leader. They chat for a bit, and they get along pretty well in here. And Ross is like, what the heck is going on here? Excuse me. And of course, it's kind of implied also, what else happens this year? Mercy goes freaking nuts. Yeah, she gets out and she goes nuts on the aliens. And then, because of what happened here, because turns to the submarine, apparently the alien armada that's commanded by Thanos destroys the Thunderbolts submarine. Yep, destroyed the submarine. They got back in issue 6. It's pretty much destroyed by issue 18. 19! Well, pretty much at the end of issue 18, they all basically pile into Punisher's battle van. One of his many battle vans he had over the years. Not the original one. No, that original was destroyed. He blew it up. He self-destructed. I think when the criminal guys got out their hands on it. This is a black van that he somehow has. One of his many battle vans. And he's driving because it's his vehicle. We have Elektra in the front seat. And in the back we have Samuel Stearns, General Ross, Deadpool, and Venom. And they're on a road trip. And we also have it happened this issue where I think it's like Stearns lights basically a lighter, sets Deadpool on fire, sends Ross on fire. Like, it's implied everybody gets killed off in this issue, but then in the issue it's real. Oh no, everyone's perfectly fine because there's going to be a dream sequence. Yes. I definitely got to hand to Charles Shaw. This stuff is good writing by him. I like the writing. I am not a fan of the artwork for issues 14, 18 because this artwork is pretty bad. Like, yeah, really bad. I'm going to give this trade roughly a 9 out of 10. It's a pretty good trade. I give that purely because the writing here is so good. Alright, next up it is, we're going to Earth 2 now. Yes, this is Earth 2 Volume 5, The Kryptonian. And this is the finale for Tom Taylor's very brief run he had on Earth 2. Yeah, a run that started with issue 17 and wrapped up with issue 25. Yes, though this particular trade collects issues 21 to 25 and Futures in One Shot. Now here's the thing about Future One Shot. Is that written by Tom Taylor? No, that's actually written by the guy who replaces Tom Taylor, Daniel Wilson. The guy who does the following issues that come after, which I'm not going to review that next episode. Most for this one, it's mostly Kal Zod getting out of his little confinement that he was in. And a lot of this story arc right here, the Kryptonian, is basically a lot of setup for Earth 2 World's End. That weekly, that short weekly series. That I should point out that is actually longer than Wolverine's. And we have Superman going nuts, and of course we see scars on his face, which turns out to be cracks in his skin. Because it's revealed at the end of the storyline where he goes to visit his parents, and then he goes kind of nuts because he's kind of insane. He ends up killing his own adoptive father, Jonathan Kent. Lois, who is the Red Tornado now, gets along with Martha perfectly fine. She basically is very protective of her. By the way, Martha Kent after this story is never seen again. Nope. It's completely unknown exactly what happened with her. We have stuff really also to Mr. Terrific, where he is working with the World's Army. We're also working with Terry Salone. Terry Salone, I should point out, Earth 2, in this version of Earth 2, never took up the name Mr. Terrific. He was known as Mr. 8. That's what he referred himself as. So, also, Khan himself becomes the new commander of the World Army. Prior to this, he actually is in command of the World Army up until World's End, where he gets killed off, and the female Judo Master, Sato, she takes command of the World Army, and she maintains command of it up until, like, the end of Earth 2 Society. Yeah, she maintains making command for that point in time. And also, you have the Wonders, who are based out of all places, the Batcave. Yes, they're based out of the Batcave, and Mira has taken pretty much her back position as the Queen of Atlantis, and she doesn't like Khan very much because of her being imprisoned in the Arkham base. Not Arkham Asylum, the Arkham base. That's what it's called in Earth 2. So, then eventually, of course, Val Zod does put on his costume that you see here on the cover. He does take on the evil Superman. And it turns out this actually is not Superman. Nope, it's revealed, thanks to his fight with Val Zod, This is actually a clone. Yes, a clone that is destroyed by the end of the issue. Yeah, they later confirmed this as sort of being the Earth 2 version of Bizarro. Yes, that was created by Darkseid. And the ending of this leads directly into Earth 2 World's End. Also, Power Girl comes back in here along with a Huntress. This happens like right after leading from basically where World's Finest, that short-lived, where that's how it left off issue 25. I've already discussed Futures End for Earth 2 thanks to a trade paperback that has all the Futures End one-shots I have. Yeah, I have a trade paperback that collects them. I'm not going to discuss it here, but for the last story arc, the second story arc that Tom Taylor did for this book was actually pretty good. The only surprising thing is the fact how short it is. Now, Nicola Scott is the artist for these issues, yes, along with Eddie Barrows. Yep. And this story arc is just purely really good. My final thoughts on this very brief run for Earth 2 by Tom Taylor. Not sure why he left for, especially since, well, even though that Earth 2 World End was going to come up, of course. Surprised he didn't stick around for another 7 issues. Excuse me. I think a lot of people thought this, though, that when issue 25 ended, that was going to be the final issue of this series, and next will come Earth 2 World's End. I think a lot of people didn't notice the fact that the series was still being published for another about 7 issues before it ended. Yeah, I don't think anybody had any idea Danny Wilson was continuing this series for a brief period of time before they concluded it. It became sort of a tie-in to Earth 2 World's End because the main story is being handled there. Now, unlike in the last story arc where it's introduced a lot of new characters, oh yeah, by the way, the Batcave itself gets destroyed in this issue, in this story arc, because the Thomas Wayne Batman, yeah, he activates the Asville Protocol, which, by the way, this is one of 2 times I've heard this particular protocol being active, where the Batcave is destroyed because parademons show up. Yep. The only other time I've heard this protocol activated ever was actually in the Batman Arkham Knight video game. Yes, Bruce Wayne activates the Arkham Knight protocol when, and it was actually during a cutscene during the last moments of the game for the story, where apparently it leads to the destruction of Wayne Manor. And, of course, the Batcave. The only other time I could think of they activated something similar to this was actually in Dark Knight Returns. That's probably what took inspiration from it, where the Batcave has got a self-destruct sequence. But yeah, DC would never allow this to happen in mainstream DC, in mainstream Batman, because that would be wrong. Destroying the Batcave would be an absolute terrible idea. Yep. I give this trade a 9.5 out of 10. Damn good. Surprising how short it was. I think that if Earth 2 Worlds had not come up, the series would continue for probably for a little while. Tom Taylor, unknown why he left for. I mean, his run only lasted for like 9 issues. No, I'm not kidding about that. Actually, it was more like, yeah, it was like 9. It was actually about 10 issues that his run lasted for, which is kind of something. It came out with issue 16, and then he left with issue 25. So after like about a year and like plus an annual, and that was it for Tom Taylor on the book. Yes, it is quite perplexing of why he left. I've never heard an official reason why. I've never met Tom Taylor. I've never met Nicola Scott. Why they both left the book. I mean, you would think that basically by the end of the book that, oh, the series is over now because Earth 2 World's End is coming. Nope, we have another 7 issues. I'll discuss in the future review. Okay, so that's episode review. And next up is going to be the next 2 volumes of Thunderbolts. I will discuss that in the 1600th episode. Normally, I would have physical trade, but I don't have physical trades with a review, so digital trades it is. Okay? Next video. Bye.